Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Roblox here. I haven't made a video in a little while, and I wanted to apologize for that. My daughter started school last week, so it's been a little crazy while we were just into the routines of kindergarten. But I am back and I am ready to start making videos again. So, today, in my clan chat, someone was asking about the Dark Fae. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to kind of show off my team. I finally got my team exactly where I wanted it. This is on Doom Tower Hard. Now, Dark Fae is not just a boss that you want to be able to beat. It's also a boss that you want to farm in the Doom Tower because the gear that she drops is some of the best PvP gear that you can get. So she drops the stuff that you need for lethal gear. So lethal gear, as you can see here, and let me make sure I turn this off real quick. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. Lethal gear here, you get 10% extra crit rate and ignores 25% of enemy defense. So that's the same amount of defense ignore that you get from uh Savage, but you also get a 10% head start on your crit rate. So it's just flat out better. It's harder to get though, because you have to craft it, and to get the crafting materials, you need to beat Dark Fae. So I farm Dark Fae um, once I unlock her. Now, previously, when I would farm her, I had to completely manual it because I did not have the ability to do it on auto. And I still kind of don't, I'll be honest with you, and you'll see that here in a second when I start doing uh when I start fighting the boss. But um with the addition of Newt, the team has gotten better. So my previous team that I used to run was this same team, and I'll kind of go over this team in a little bit here. Um I need to have Arbiter for a couple reasons. One is increase attack for my nuker, which is Supreme Elhane, and we'll talk about that in a second. I also need Arbiter to get the speed of my characters fast enough that I can nuke down Dark Fae's copies before she gets another turn. Okay. Um, Lady Kimmy comes in bringing the ally speed in Doom Tower, but she also decreases the speed of the enemy team, preventing them from getting a turn. Now, why Cold Heart and Newt? I bring Cold Heart in for turn meter control and boss killing potential because she does damage based on enemy max HP. And then Newt for the same reasons. Now, there's a couple trade offs with Newt versus other characters. I used to bring Armiger. Armiger doesn't do enough turn meter control, so the team was not perfect. When I got Allure like right before Newt got introduced to the game. So by the time I had Allure 60, I had Newt 60. And so I've tried it with both Allure and Newt. Newt is faster, but Allure is another option you can use as well for her turn meter control that she has. And you'll see why turn meter control was so important. Now, one thing about my Supreme Alhain, I don't have the right gear to build Supreme Helhane how I would want to build her with ignoring defense, right? So Supreme Helhane is known as a PvP champion. Um, she hits one enemy really hard, gets an extra turn if it kills an enemy, and then she has an AoE nuke. Now, and then she's immune to decreased attack debuffs and all that. So the reason I use Supreme Elhane, you'll see that. Oh, I did build her in Savage. Okay, I don't know why I thought she was not built in Savage, but I think I re-equipped her since the last rotation with Savage gear to be used in PvP, and I haven't gotten around to using her yet. So there's a couple of issues with my team that make it a little hard. I use Arbiter in Arena. My Arbiter has a lot of HP. You'll see that here in a second. Because she has so much HP, she's really hard for me to kill with other nukers. And so, um, I suppose I could try and use Hefrak. I haven't bothered to rotate him into the fold yet. But I bring Elhain because she has that really heavy single target nuke, and she can kill the Arbiter in one shot, and then kill the rest of the team. Now, the counter to that is like, well, don't bring Arbiter, but I need the speed from Arbiter. I need the turn meter boost at the beginning of the round, and you'll see that here in a second. So, and well, then make your Arbiter weaker is the other option, right? Which is great, but I don't want to make her weaker because I use her in PvP. So you have to make adjustments to your builds that fit within the that fit within your plan for your account, right? Um, and I'll get into more detail about it when we get into the fight because um, I don't want to. Well, I don't know. So a couple of things you don't want to do. We'll just get into it. A couple of things you don't want to do with Dark Fae. You don't want to bring too tanky of a team. So you do want turn meter control, right? So Armiger is a good choice because he's a common. Um, or no, he's a uncommon. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's a good choice because he has low HP. He's easy to kill, even though he's a defense-based champion. However, if you were to bring Vizix, who also has good turn meter control, you will likely have a hard time killing her with your nuker, right? So the whole point is that you need a good AoE nuker to kill your copies. But if your copies are all defense-based, then you're not going to be able to kill them. So that's why I wouldn't want to use like Stultus Dragonbane as my nuker, because I may not be able to kill him with my own nuker. And then he gets a turn and kills half my team, and now, and then the Dark Fae gets her turn, and it can really snowball really quickly. So I found that this team works really well. The main goal of my teams is boss turn meter control. And so you want one AoE nuker that can kill the whole team. If your Arbiter's weaker, then you can just use one AoE nuker. And then you want turn meter control for the boss, because the fewer turns the boss takes, the better. Now, ideally, you won't let the boss take a turn at all. I don't have the speeds for that. I don't have the builds for that, but that is the ultimate goal. So I am going to turn on super raids here just because I want to burn through these keys as fast as possible. Now it's going to be on auto to start. Now you'll see right here I'm using all of my abilities on this first wave. The first wave goes down pretty quickly. For the second wave, I have everything turned off. Blessed Bash is turned on because I don't care about that one. That's not turn meter control based. So, but you'll see we're all using A1s. We're not using any other abilities because we need those abilities for Dark Fae. Okay, so it is set to where I'm only going to use, I'll use Blessed Bash because I actually don't want Blessed Bash right away. And you'll kind of see why here in a second. I would rather get the turn meter control from Newt than have Blessed Bash be used right away. Okay? So we come in, we clear the wave, and there we go. Now, I have to do one thing. I have to tell it, hey, you need to target Arbiter. Right? You see that little circle under her? I clicked on Arbiter, and I told my game, target Arbiter. And I'm already screwed up. It didn't work. Okay. I don't know what happened there, so we're going to replay it. Maybe I didn't click fast enough, or Elhain didn't crit. It could be Elhain didn't crit. I'm going to... After we clear this wave, I'll put it on 1x. So this is a hard boss. Very hard boss. It is one you want to farm, so if you can get to a point where you can manual or auto this boss, that's really, really big, but sometimes you may have to manual it. So in my case, and that's the first time I've seen this fail, I'm able to auto it as long as I tell them to target Arbiter. So once we clear this wave, I will switch it to 1x so I can find out what happened, what went wrong there. Alright. Alright, we're on 1x now. So she's going to make the copies of my team. I'm going to tell them to target Arbiter. Now I boost my team. I take away their turn meter. Newt goes in and see he decreases turn meter. Now that wasn't a problem before. She should use her, big nuke, and then she kills the whole wave. Heartseeker on the boss takes the turn meter down. We take the turn meter down further with her. Newt comes in, taking turn meter down. Honestly, you could turn off Newt's A3 and just have him do decreased turn meter. It will take you longer to do, but you will you will avoid any potential falls, because you'll see here, she's going to get a turn soon. I'm going to put back on 2 times. So she's going to get a turn because he's using Blessed Bash. So instead of turn meter control, he did a ton of damage, which is great, right? But now she gets a turn, and she'll always steal your nuker, so you got to make sure you kill the nuker. So then you go back on the boss. Now that she'll get another turn, but she's going to do a little AoE laser beam thing. We're not worried about that. She's not going to kill this team. She doesn't do a lot of damage. So, and see, you can see when he's doing turn meter, like, she's barely getting over 50%. It's only when he uses Blessed Bash that she stays way high on turn meter. She's going to get a turn. There she does her attack, and then we finish her off. So it's not completely auto. I have to micromanage it a little bit just so I can kill my Arbiter, because she has so much health. Now, when I did this with Allure, it worked fine too. I still needed to target the Arbiter with Supreme Elhain, and it just took a little bit longer. So you'll see my best time is 1:40. That's a pretty good time for farming a boss. So that's kind of the concept. You want to make sure that you have a nuker that can kill the wave. Because my Arbiter's health is so high, I don't really have a nuker that can kill my Arbiter in one shot. My Heffrack's been boosted up quite a bit, but when I first started the concept of this team, I wasn't able to take out the Arbiter with my Heffrack. That is why I made the switch to Supreme Elhain. In fact, what I used to have to run was Heffrack and Genbo, just to be able to kill the whole enemy team. So I've since, my account has improved since then. We're talking like many rotations ago. So I have made quite a few changes to the team and to the account. Newt speeds it up a bunch, and it's pretty effective. I still don't know why it didn't work the first time we did it in here. It could have been a glitch. It could have been that, I bet you maybe Supreme Elhain is like 99% crit rate. Nope, she's 101% crit rate. So I don't know what it could have been. I'll probably go back and watch the replay. But that's how I do Dark Fae. I think it's a very effective strategy, and it's one that I highly recommend. I got it off YouTube. Turn meter control, and just make sure you have a nuker. But theoretically, you could bring in 5 rares with a cold heart. Like, honestly, you could if you had maybe Spirit Host or someone along those lines. I don't think Spirit Host can boost team. Who am I thinking of? Oh, you know who? Well, he's defense based. There's a lot of different options that you could go with. I was thinking, Doom Screech. Yeah, turn meter for all allies by 30%. Now the problem is the increased defense. So if their Doom Screech gets a turn, you may have a harder time killing them. I was also thinking that you could go with Seeker, but Seeker's also defense based. If you keep him squishy, you'd be good. He gives you that 30%, grants an extra turn, and can provoke somebody and prevent them. So like he could provoke himself theoretically and prevent him from casting this ability. So there's a lot of ways that you can do it. Some other things I used to run, I would bring in crowd control. AoE crowd control effects that decrease the turn meter by 75%. A good option that is potentially you can get free on a lot of accounts would be Deacon, I think. Fill your turn meters and decreases the enemy turn meter. So he's a great option because he takes his turn He increases the team's turn meter and then decreases the enemy turn meter, which is great. I'll show you why Lady Kimmy's in there. So one thing that you also got to do, you're going to need to do some team managing on this one. Okay, so let's get back in there real quick. So you'll need to do some team managing because the AI is gonna want to do a certain thing. You'll see that this is an older Dark Fae team that I used to use. Problem is I couldn't kill Mishinaki and Arbiter back then. I probably could now, but because my half-rack's a lot stronger. Okay, so this is my current Dark Fae team. So you come in here for round 3. I have to tell Lady Kimmy to use Flurry of Petals first. Now, what does Flurry of Petals do? If we take a look at Lady Kimmy real quick. If I can find her. There she is. So, Flurry of Petals. 75% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 15%. So I'm taking away turn meter. That's important because my Arbiter, who's giving me turn meter and speed, I don't want the copy Arbiter to get a turn. So not only I have my Lady Kimmy speed wise within 30% of my Arbiter. So my Arbiter will always go first over their Arbiter because it's a tie. The tie goes to me. So my Arbiter will always go first. And then the Lady Kimmy will reduce my Arbiter's or the copy Arbiter turn meter so that Arbiter doesn't boost that whole team. And I have had fails before. This is why it's important to kill the Arbiter first as well. I have had fails before where Arbiter got a turn, probably off of like a random resist or something along those lines. Her resistance is pretty low, and Lady Kimmy's accuracy is very high, but she still managed. Sometimes there's just stuff like that happens. Arbiter takes a turn, and then I get countered the same way I'm trying to counter them. So this is a little bit longer of a video, so I'm going to kind of cut it here. But if you have any specific questions, please let me know. This is a great team. It has worked for me very easily on other modes. As I'm getting further into hard, I'm having to play with it and fine tune it quite a bit. But it's just a team that works for me. There are many options. If this isn't a team that you feel like you can make with the characters you have on your account, there are other options. Like you don't have to use all these 4 legendaries that I'm using. There are definitely other options. Armiger or Allure can take the place of Newt. Cold Heart's relatively easy to get, but if you don't yet have a Cold Heart, Royal Guard or you could use another Armiger, to be honest. Really, Cold Heart, Cold Heart is here for the turn meter control, but also because she brings boss damage. So there's some play there, right? You could bring Armiger or Allure because the main goal to make it 100% is just don't let her take a turn. You kill the wave, she never gets to make the copy of the wave again, and then you just burn her down, right? So there are quite a few options that you can use kind of within that composition. So then, but mainly you need a nuker. You don't even need Arbiter or Lady Kimmy. The problem is that the boss has pretty high speed, which is why I needed Arbiter to be in the comp. If Arbiter isn't in the comp, then she will copy my team. I'll take a handful of turns, even if I just had Lady Kimmy, and decrease their speed. Dark Fae gets a turn, and then she kills me because her ability when the team is alive is an ally attack, and she'll kill somebody on my team. It ruins the tune. So really, that's why it's important to kind of make sure that you have the right speeds. My account, I don't have enough speed gear to make this whole team fast, but I have enough speed gear to make my Arbiter fast, and if I make my Arbiter fast, I make the whole team fast. So that's my approach to it. In the lower levels, you'll probably be fine on speeds, but in hard, it's a pretty high speed cap that you're going to have to be paying attention to. And you want to make sure that everybody's within 30% speed. Well, not everybody, but at least your speed, your turn meter reducer is within 30% of Arbiter. So like Newt, Elhain, they can't be like crazy slow, but they don't need to be super fast. As long as Lady Kimmy, so Arbiter boosts the turn meter of these guys, and then Lady Kimmy reduces the turn meter of the copies so that these guys get a turn. Otherwise, they have to be within 30% of the arbiter, or else the enemy arbiter goes, and then everything gets screwed up. Right? You want to make sure that the enemy copies don't get a turn. So I hope that makes sense. I'm happy to readdress this video again in the future if you guys have any questions. But this is a team that I recommend. I did see it on YouTube, so you can certainly see some other versions of it and options for it. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.